Hey, I'm not Nikki, and I'm certainly not Obadiah. Welcome, listeners of the worst of the riot. It is I, Hudson, because although the riot put in the hard work to do a whole show, a whole podcast, 2 full days in a row, they neglected to record a podcast intro. They thought that's Hudson work to do that kind of thing. So here I am, an extra 2 minutes of my day going to filling you in on what you can expect in the Worst of the Riot podcast. You're going to hear the riot complaining about the Democratic debates, not the politics of it, but just the inconvenience that it could potentially cause them that I think by this time, since they're already gone, probably wound up not causing them any. They also talk about the cavalcade of tweets from Disney Plus, the new item at KFC, and so much more. It's all in the Worst of the Riot podcast, so sit back, relax, and listen.
Wow, not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on RadioU.
Now, many of you may not know this, but Nikki and I are not far away from the Democratic debates that are going to be taking place today.
Thank you.
We are like maybe a mile away from that.
I feel like we could be in the path of like traffic or angry people or happy people or just like the security barrier.
I know.
And I don't want anywhere near any of that busyness today. I got enough to do.
That's exactly how I feel. And I mean, I don't know. For all we know, we won't even notice. But I'll tell you this. I also know that this is okay. Apparently, Michelle Obama came to town one time. I did not know this. She came to the place I was working out at the community center.
Yeah.
The community center was full of all these people I'd never seen in my life working out. And they were huge.
And they were mostly security.
And I had no idea. I was just like, man, who are all these people?
We'll see a lot of the cars today. That's usually the most.
Right. So there has to be. And I mean, it's not like.
Well, security's been here for days. There's like pre-team, then
Right.
there's the team, and then there's post-team for cleanup. So security people have been around.
Yeah, okay.
We're just not going over the road. We're not.
It's true. Like
we have this road in
crossed
front of our
over.
building, and we're not crossing the other way. We always go, north. We're not going south, as long as we don't go that way.
No, I'm not going south. And in fact, I want out of here as fast as I can today.
Like, is there a way we can leave now?
Like, I just want out as fast as I can. And like, listen, it's not political or I guess it is personal. It's personal in that I just don't want near any kind of a traffic or emotional or whatever mess.
That's 100% it.
I just want away from it.
People are like, oh, when you want to be a part of something. No, we don't. Thank you, but no.
No. I want to be away from it. It's too close.
I don't want it to affect our traffic into our building. I don't want to have to. It's hard enough going out there anyway, sometimes traffic-wise, just depending on the time of the day. But
sometimes, depending on what's going on, they'll just shut our road down.
They do. They just shut it down, and we're stuck in here.
We have one entrance, one exit, like one way in or out. And that's my thing is like, bro, don't shut me in here.
Don't shut the road down.
No, you can't do that.
And then they're like, why do you want to leave? You're like, because I just need to leave.
I'm hungry.
I know. I want to go to lunch.
There's nothing here to eat.
Don't panic. Don't panic. We're going to be fine. We're just going to keep an eye on it, but we're not going south.
Okay, we might be too focused on it. Because, for example, I feel like every time I mention it, certain other staff members are like, oh,
what's the big deal?
I'm just like, yeah. When it's midnight and you're still stuck in here.
People parked out there just looking at you like, what are you doing? You're like, I'm doing nothing. I'm literally trying to go home.
Can we come in and use your bathroom?
So that's our worry today. But we love the political system and all that.
We're so excited about America.
We're just primaries. Coming off the fundraiser. We're just very testy, very tired, and we just want to go back to our house and just have a normal schedule. And we don't want anything interrupting that.
It's fine. Whatever. Just you guys stay over there.
Now I'm anxious about it again. Was so pretty calm about it, but now we remember again.
I gotta get out.
I know. What time is that gonna be?
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
The fine people at Frito-Lay. Actually, I don't know. They could be terrible people, but they make good chips, right?
just think we're just talking about the chips.
Yeah, they've unveiled their latest flavor, which seems like something you would like, Nikki.
It does. I think it sounds pretty good. I don't like too tomatoey, so that it just depends on how much of the grilled cheese flavor shines through on this potato chip, but I'm interested in it.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
That's the new Lay's potato chip. So this one's a limited time one. It's supposedly out.
Were you ever a grilled cheese and tomato soup person?
No, but I am a bread and soup person.
Okay.
But normally I wouldn't gravitate towards the tomato soup.
Yeah, I'm not a tomato soup person
and as
either,
I've gotten
which
older,
is dumb because I like ketchup. So
I've gotten older, I like tomato soup or like pasta, like marinara sauce. I like it less and less and less. So
well, I mean, when you can just get cheese.
Just like a little olive oil or something, a little oil, just a light thing.
Oh, dude.
I prefer that.
You get a good cheese, and I don't even mean a cheese sauce, but a good cheese with a little olive oil. That's plenty for
nice
pasta.
crusty bread.
Yeah, come on.
Just a really nice bread.
Come on. So
it just depends on the flavor combination on this, but I'm interested in it. We're in.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup. Yeah, it's a shame because I don't know if you guys know this, but cheese is in everything. Cheese and milk.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Would you be willing to risk this one? Or
I probably just, take some, what do you call it? Lactaid and hope for the best.
You got to come up with a code word for it so it sounds cool, like, L up. Tablet up. Power.
I'll just pop a pill.
Something like that.
I'll tap a tablet.
Yeah, exactly. Tap a tablet. They're like, what tablet? You're like, it's just lactate. It's fine.
Double T. Know what I'm saying?
The TL.
Yeah. Oh, it's too bad, man. That has been my bane of my existence over the last couple of weeks is trying to figure out what has been making me sick, and it really does look like if I just avoid dairy,
seems to be
part, I'm doing great.
So for this, it's technically out on the 21st, but for some, they found it around. It just depends, and it is limited edition, so that's about as long as it lasts.
It doesn't look like it's limited to like a certain
No, it's everywhere.
retailer. No. You should be able to find it all over.
It's not like a Walmart, Target thing. This should be just at grocery stores. So keep an eye out. If anybody sees it, let us know. We'll look for it.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I like a potato chip.
We're good on that.
I'll eat a chip.
They're like, like in movies and futuristic societies, they show you like the bar and it's really the whole meal, but it's made into a bar or like a chip.
Yeah.
And you're like, I actually would be just fine with it. I don't mind.
Hand it on over here.
We might have to find it in time to try it next Friday. Or next Thursday on October 24th, we're doing a Riot Live event. Yay! Did you forget about that?
No, I'm just thinking about what my weekend's going to look like after that.
That's plan.
That's what I'm thinking about.
So we're doing a special live evening show on our RadioU Facebook page, and that's next Thursday on the 24th. We do food fights. We're going to be dressing up, so maybe we'll get these chips in time.
Sounds great.
He's so excited.
Sounds great.
Hey, pop a pill that night, remember?
Double T.
Double T.
Maybe the Riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Do you follow Disney Plus on Twitter?
No, but I saw yesterday they made
a
it trend.
Myself.
You did, but you're not even signing up for it.
Oh, no, I'm planning on probably carrying it for a month or two.
Okay.
I want to check it out. I just did. Excuse me, Nikki. There's a difference between signing up for 3 years and I just want to sign up for a couple of months.
Yeah, but my 3 years is right on like you for a couple of months price-wise.
Whatever.
I got a really good deal.
Whatever. I'm going to sign up for like 2 months, and Nikki's like, well, look how I got.
I practically did.
You know what? I'm great.
I saw yesterday they're like shoving out all the movies and stuff that they're going to be carrying.
It was an annoying little Twitter stunt.
Was it?
Well, yeah, because when I hit Twitter yesterday afternoon, I was like, okay, what? Like my entire Twitter feed was nothing but Disney logos.
Because they couldn't just put it on one list and send you the one list. They just made it, the announcement after announcement of each movie.
Yeah, which is weird because isn't this like the third time they've said, oh, here's a list of everything that's going to be on?
No, everybody else has just made a list for them of what they feel or suspected or want to speculate that was on it.
I would swear to you before like when you signed up for Disney Plus for the rest of your life, they had that list.
You know, they had the Mandalorian. It's the mandolin and a DeLorean put together, isn't it?
The Mandalorian.
That's the only way I remember
their Star Wars thing.
Yeah, then they did the Lady and the Tramp thing.
Yep.
And then
their High School Musical thing.
And like the Christmas thing. So
there's going to be a Christmas movie.
They announced some of that in the beginning.
And then they also said, like, okay, they're doing Star Wars, like, up through the 7th movie, I think. And then they're also doing, like, it's only like 3 or 4 Marvel movies. It's not a whole bunch of Marvel stuff. And then I can't remember what else, but they had, like, it's all the Pixar stuff. They had some list, but yesterday they tweeted out over 600 movies and TV shows that are going to be a part of the service.
List.
Yeah.
That's why you don't follow, or at least you just need to mute it.
I did?
Yes.
Don't you worry. I
don't want to see this in my timeline anymore.
I took care of that right away. But I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff there. The thing I'm most interested in, and no one's going to even understand, which is why it probably tanked, is the movie that apparently it was Disney's first animated movie that was rated PG. And I guess, like, it tanked. Like, they never released it on video until, like, the late 90s, but it came out in the mid-80s.
What was their stuff like?
I've never seen it.
Was there stuff lower than a PG? Or?
It was all G.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called The Black Cauldron. And it is an animated movie of the second book in the Chronicles of Pride Dane by Lloyd Alexander, which is
Does this mean anything to anybody?
I loved those books.
Do you?
Yes, I loved them.
But you could never see the movie?
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a movie until a couple of years ago, and I don't know if they've released it since then or what, but
is
like
it just
it's
on
not
YouTube, or
it's not really easy to find, and so it's going to be on this service, and so for all I know, it's terrible. Could just be terrible, but I'm still like, you know what?
Well, Disney history, you're curious.
I'll watch that movie right there. So that's the word. Over 600 titles. And Nikki signed up for 3 years.
Quit
so
saying
Nikki,
that.
You got 3 years.
Hey, stop telling people.
What?
I signed up for the 3-year deal in such a way. You feel like your tone.
Are you ashamed?
No, but you're making fun of me.
If it's louder than it has to be and way worse than it has any right to be, it must be the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I don't know if we started it before or I think it was before the fundraiser, but I'm on the depression light now.
Oh, the
seasonal affective disorder light.
You have a, you can't even say it's a sad light, but it is a seasonal affective disorder light box.
Therapy.
That's it, light therapy.
Box.
It's a light box, but it's like a lamp.
It's in your face.
Every morning. Yay! Just scoot it closer.
I always feel like I've done something wrong where it's like, oh, he has to get the box out now. He said, you know what? He was so mean to Nikki that he had to be talked to.
You had to get the box.
And then we had to get the box
for
out.
All the lighting we have in this room, I don't understand why we can't just hang that somewhere or make it look like off the light grid or something.
I need to be able to take it home on the weekends because I do need to use it on the weekends. So I get up in the morning, and again, it's like punishment. Get your coffee, sit in front of the light.
You will turn it on, and it'll make you feel better.
Yeah, I know.
And you're supposed to use it now so that come January, when things can get
supposed to help me level out.
Yeah, things can get pretty bad for people that have seasonal affective disorder. You don't start it then; you want to start it now.
I'll tell you what, for real. Like if you deal with seasonal depression at all, and I might say this just for depression in general, but like it's time to get the coping skills out. I got the light box. I'm getting the morning exercise. And all that kind of stuff because, dude, even this weekend, I like to go down in my basement, and I was like, nope, you can't be sitting in that windowless room all day. You're gonna
even if you have your light,
no,
just get a bunch of them and just put them around.
I was like, you got to get up and you got to stay. And the other thing I did was I kept, and again, this will be my life for the next 6 months, which it sounds pathetic when I say that, but I had to keep making myself go outside. It's like, all right, dude. We're going outside. I'm like, oh, I don't want to. Shut up. You're going outside.
That's how you talk to yourself.
Like, but it's like, doesn't matter if you want to. Get out there. Get some sunshine. Feel it on your face.
So you're supposed to start that now.
Yeah, you got to get on that. So, yeah, like if that's your thing, if you haven't started yet, it's time.
You know what's funny is I'm still somewhat the opposite. Like in January and February and stuff, I actually don't mind the dark. I do better in the dark. I'm the complete opposite.
Well, I used to be that way.
Yeah.
But then I began to realize that, like, you know, pulling over to cry on the way to work is not necessarily normal. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, well, I like it when it's dark.
That's perfectly fine.
I like to sit in the basement alone in the dark. What?
Oh, it's fine. We're all different.
If I can, I'll do that my whole life. How's that?
But for you, it's good. You have to start it early.
Oh, got to. So, you know what?
It always reminds me of the was it Pixar or whoever had the lamp in their logo?
Yeah.
And it would kind of like bounce around. To me, on this angle, it looks like it's just the little lamp going like,
he's just hanging with me.
He's just looking at you.
He's like, spell Obadiah. There's an I in there, so we just have a little lamp.
It dots it, yeah.
It's got a little lamp. So, hey, you know what? Real talk, though. If you need some self-care today, take some time for some self-care. I don't know what that is for you. I know what it is for me, and I hate it. I mean, I love it, and it's great.
The only morning show brave enough to say that Chicken McNuggets are part of a balanced breakfast. The Riot on RadioU.
So a woman in Australia was just deported. Sent her right on back. She came from Vietnam to Sydney, and right there at the airport, they were like, nope, we're yanking your visa. You're not coming in. Because she was trying to bring in pork.
Pork?
She was bringing in pork from Vietnam, which I don't really understand that.
Well, was it like pre-pork as in like not killed yet, or was it a pig?
It was not a pig, and it was not...
It's not like a sandwich, or...
No, it wasn't cooked.
She was just bringing meat?
Just brought meat with her.
You'd be surprised with people. Have you ever seen some of those custom or like airport shows? Like, you won't believe what they brought in.
That actually sounds like something that you would love.
I know, right? I love seeing stuff what's
Nikki
this?
likes to watch Hoarders.
It
what we found at airports.
Makes me feel better about what I pack when I go on vacation, because I'm not bringing pork.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not either.
I don't have like 100 parakeets in my sleeve and I'm bringing them in.
She brought pork and at least a dozen eggs, like pickled eggs or something. I don't know. But, okay, I'm just being real. Like, I don't understand that. If you're in a position where you're like, I really want to make sure that I have good pork, like, bring the spices, but... I mean, they got pigs in Australia. You can get pork.
Maybe it's some secret family recipe, or it's a pork that's blessed in a certain way, or something like that. I don't know. Something.
Well, I'll tell you this. Like, apparently, and this I don't keep up with, but there was a terrible African swine flu that spread, and Australia has been fighting hard to make sure that it doesn't spread to Australia, and so. Basically, one of the worst things that you can bring to Australia is pork of any kind.
And then Erin texted, she said probably because pork can also carry parasites as well.
Oh,
like if you've ever gone into a different country, I mean, they don't want you to bring a lot of stuff in.
No, they really don't.
Are you allowed to take a lot of stuff out? You know, if you're like, oh, I brought this fruit tree. I can't wait to bring it home. And then they're like, no, you may not.
The only thing I can think of that... And I'm just trying to connect what this lady's doing to my personal experience here, right? Is that I have had relatives in Oregon ship me Oregon blackberries.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, they are
divine.
So much better
than
what I find locally. But yeah, it's in the contiguous 48.
This would be like when I take In-N-Out on the plane. You know, it's food. You're just taking food on the plane.
Like, yeah, but this is uncooked pork.
Yes, that's why it's wrong. That's why you weren't allowed to bring it in.
I know, but I want to get this lady on the show.
No,
I just want to know.
You're not going to understand. It's a different thing. We just don't understand.
Because, maybe it is that. Maybe it's just like, listen, them Australian pigs, they ain't no good. We've got the real stuff in Vietnam.
And we're bringing it with us.
What
was the pickled stuff?
Oh, no, it was like pickled eggs. A bunch of those.
Well, is this on carry-on or is it in luggage underneath?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, that makes a difference, too.
Yeah. So, just a heads up, if anybody's planning on going to Australia, if you could not take any raw meat with you, they'd really appreciate it.
Well, I think you would have known that already, but you just can't be sure. You want to always check.
What do we always say? If you see a sign, that sign is there for a reason.
That means enough people have done it.
Somebody did that.
To be able to warrant having this whole discussion.
Why do you guys have a sign? No, we need the sign, okay? We have to have the sign. It's about to have to become a law.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Are you still in high school? Are you in California?
Then there's good news.
Then I've got great news. Are you still in high school and not in California? Sucks to be you!
This has no effect on you.
Here's the deal. California has signed a new bill into law that is going to force, now granted, in 3 years it'll force this, so I should have mentioned maybe, are you in junior high and in California right now?
And this might start affecting you.
July 2022, middle schools will start the day no earlier than 8 a.m. High schools will be able to start the day no earlier than 8:30.
They don't want school starting as early as maybe some have been because they feel like people are not getting enough sleep. And as a student, you need more sleep.
Which is exactly what this is going to result in. Everybody's going to maintain their current bedtime. And then they're going to get a chance to get more sleep. And then they'll get up with that additional sleep time and head into class more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed than ever.
You know, I think it depends on your route and stuff, but I always had a harder time because we took the bus and your bus was, you could be on your bus for sometimes an hour or so.
Yeah.
So it just depends on how long you'd actually have to get up just to sit on the bus.
You know what? My mom took me to school pretty much until I got a driver's license because of where we lived and stuff. She just took me. So I don't know. I did not have that long bus ride experience.
That was you just sat there. You're like, okay, we'll be here for a while.
I did for a little while. I think it was freshman year. There was probably about half the year that I rode a bus. But other than that, my mom took me. And then, of course, I got that sweet new ride.
Ooh, when you got your car?
Everybody wanted to ride in the 82 Buick Riviera.
It's a classic. Is that what you had?
Yeah.
That was your first car?
The gas gauge didn't work. And
so you couldn't tell when it was empty?
No. And so it got about 10 miles to the gallon is what I figured. So I would just run it up to 200 miles and then fill it up again. So it only cost about $100 a week to drive it. So it was fine.
You just got to make do with what you get.
But sure was cheaper than a new car, right?
That's supposed to question what you get. It's fine.
So, Nikki, according to the Center for Disease Control, there was a study from 2017 that found that 75% of teenagers are getting by on less than 8 hours of sleep per night, and that leaves them vulnerable.
8 hours is plenty.
No, they're getting less than 8 hours.
No, it's close enough, guys.
As an adult, they recommend 7.
Sure.
So, but when you're younger, you need some more sleep because your brain is still developing.
I guess.
You're growing. Your body's changing. There's all these things going on, and you need to be at your best to be able to handle that.
I actually feel like in high school I slept better, but then when I did a year and a half of college, and I would sleep constantly during classes with that. Because they were just so early and so, by choice, you chose to go there. And
college was the worst.
The worst.
Those were
non-sleeping times.
I don't want to talk about my sleep habits in college. They were bad.
Yes, I know. This might help for high school and stuff, but
be up for 36 hours, sleep for 14. It's fine.
I'll just sleep on the weekend. It's fine.
What's the big deal?
No problem. And then you get to the weekend, you're like, I'm not sleeping.
Man. And then I had a couple semesters where I didn't have classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Oh my gosh, I would sleep all day.
The Riot is to your ears what all those energy drinks are to your liver.
For the love of God, please stop. I can only process so much.
The Riot, RadioU.
Nikki, during the fundraiser, we missed out on certain pieces of important information.
We missed out on some news?
We did. Did you know that KFC is now offering a fully sauced wing?
I did. I wasn't sure what my thoughts were on that, but okay.
That means that thing is taking a bath.
Have we had wings from KFC?
Never.
That was the bigger question.
Never. I've never had wings at KFC.
Didn't even know they had that sort of thing.
Didn't know they had wings.
So it'd be like, we go to, if you go to Buffalo Wild Wings or Quaker Steak or Roosters or something. So those wings?
Yeah.
The little ones?
Where they're just soaked in
sauce. So now KFC
Saucy.
does that?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
I think also, like, doesn't Pizza Hut and, like, pizza places do wings, too? I feel like it might be on that level.
You're saying
like that's
not
that
as good?
level. I don't know. Maybe it's amazing, but
what if it is?
I feel like it's on that level.
Okay.
Dude, KFC and a few other places, that's a roll of the dice.
Always. You never know what you're going to get.
And sometimes the dice rolls off the very dirty table and onto the floor, and you just lose out.
Which is where they're prepping your chicken wings anyway.
Yeah, with all the sauces.
No big deal. So no.
No, that's not going to. I tried. The last thing I went to KFC was for the Cheetos thing.
Yeah.
So that's.
And you liked it.
I liked it, but boy, it was poorly made. Poorly made.
Well, I mean.
And it was my bad for going on a Sunday. I don't know, like, if that's
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
A training day or something?
I'll tell you exactly what happened. Too many high school students that were making your Cheeto sandwich that were not getting that 8 hours of sleep they need
and they couldn't properly
due to
make
regulation.
It. No, I also think I came at the end of the Cheeto limited time window, and I think they were all just done with it.
That's all they had left.
It was just, they couldn't sauce, like, it wasn't even sauced or
Come
anything.
on, just scrape together some Cheetos and throw it out the window.
Put it in the bag and then say give it to her.
All right. So
that's probably a no from me, but if we go there, maybe I would try it.
What if? Mm-hmm. What if? And they haven't said this. They haven't said it. So nobody get too excited. But what if they were like, listen, we've got new Cheetos crusted wings.
That's what they couldn't do with the Cheetos stuff that I had. They couldn't.
We got to go.
It was spotty. Okay. Barely any sauce anywhere. It was just like, I don't know how they did it.
I know, but maybe this will be different.
I think it was more effort to make it so poorly than it would have been to make it good.
Wouldn't it have been easier to just throw the thing in there and then pull it out?
I think that way.
What are you painting it on here?
Pretty
Is this
much.
your postmodern masterpiece?
Again, we'll see what happens with it, but I did see the news on that, but I have not yet tried any of the sauced wings at KFC.
I don't want them. I don't.
Well, I'll put that down.
I mean, like, if we're stuck somewhere, like, okay, whatever, fine. But I'll just tell you, with all the options that surround us, and KFC isn't cheap either. So it'd be like, by the time we pay for that, we could have had...
We'd probably go to a wing place.
Like $3 or $4 more, you could have had real wings. Which is not to say they're not real.
Which means we haven't gone to the wing buffet in a while. That's also a roll of the dice lately.
Also a roll of the dice.
When it's good, it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
So Halloween's coming up. The Riot's got their costume party thing. Our next live event next Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific.
We'll do a special evening show on our Facebook page, which you can join us at RadioU or RadioU Riot. You should go ahead and like and follow the page so you'll get notified when we do something live.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about, my costume and stuff. And I feel like in order to take it to the level that I want to take it to, I'm going to need to do a little draw from Petty Cash.
Oh, what else do you need to buy?
Well, I saw here that there's a company that's selling 14-karat gold vampire teeth.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Well, that'll really make the costume.
Don't you think that's probably what I need?
How much is that? How much could that possibly be?
How much do you think that would cost?
I don't know, but in my mind, we said, for my first vampire marriage, you turn those back into, melt them into gold.
Sure.
To more stuff.
Little caster gold for you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
What do you got?
How many? What is it again?
How up on the price of gold are you, Nikki?
I was actually going to wait for someone to text or to Google search what's the current price of gold? I don't know, $3,000.
$10,000.
$10,000.
Yeah, which I mean, we've got that just in the drawer out there, right?
The petty cash drawer, of course. It's just been restocked.
Yeah, so it should be fine.
We don't have that in there.
Okay.
We got like $20.
Okay.
All
right. So I'm
just to let you know.
I'm just going to need
now
9,000.
We can offer $3,000 for the teeth. We can offer lower.
So it's like, all right, you guys want 10,000, but how do you feel about 20? And they're like, yeah, 20,000.
No, we meant dollars.
$20.
Now we can pay you in cash, and sometimes the cash offer is very attractive.
You know what? That's actually a really good point, because sometimes it's like, oh man, this is great. Like we didn't think we'd get cash. People have been trying to trade us kayaks.
Or we'd have to get like a home mortgage for these vampire teeth.
Yeah, you just
They're
add
like,
them on.
what is this for? You're like, oh, it's nothing. Don't ask.
Don't concern yourself with that. It's just
You can get probably some faux teeth for a lot less.
You
we
think
could
so?
Maybe spray paint them a gold. Like, I could DIY this easily.
Yeah, but I'm going to know.
We could do
and that's
pasta
gonna affect,
or like make something mushy.
The thing is, like, that's going to affect my confidence.
Why? Just because you don't have
Because I'll know they're not real.
They're not the $10,000 vampire teeth.
Yeah, and Nikki, I don't think you want me to be in a broadcast environment where my confidence is compromised. Do you?
You're right.
I mean, I have to be able to be 100% who I need to be in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And if it costs $10,000 for starters, then great.
Now, fine. If we did buy these for you, then I want to make sure that you understand you need to use these more than just once.
So, like, it's going to be...
Every holiday, you bring these things back out.
So, well, I think it would be great for Thanksgiving.
Your Thanksgiving vampire, your Christmas vampire.
Well, Nikki, the thing about being a vampire is, like, you're not just a vampire at Halloween, okay? You know?
Not to you.
This is who I am all year. Okay? Everybody wants to be my friend once a year, but, like, you know, where are you guys in March?
So you wear these things all the time.
Sure. It's an investment, really.
And then sometimes, like when we were little, remember your parents would be like, okay, we can have this, but this is Christmas and your birthday for like the next 2 years. You
Which
can
was
have
always
this,
a lie. That's a lie.
but this will be like your Halloween for the next 20 years.
I want you to know.
You're always going to be the vampire.
This company sells a lot of great stuff. They also have, they've got a barbecue grill set. But here's what I don't like is I get that.
How's
and
that
then
for Halloween?
If I showed up as a vampire 2 years in a row, you're like, oh, can't even change the costume?
If you pay $10,000 for the vampire teeth, yes, you can.
Man, this is a matter of scale. I got to figure out how to start making a lot more money so I have money to spend on important things like these vampire teeth.
I don't know. That might always seem like a frivolous buy to me.
You know why, Nikki? You're
just not into it, right?
You got to stop living down here with the common people, and I'm trying to call you up.
Living a big life.
Yeah, big life, big money. Let's get a credit card. Come on.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
There's a guy from Panera who got fired.
What was he doing?
You didn't see this? It's
well,
so good.
I'm sure the list is long, but is it someone who's disclosing how things are made there?
Oh, yeah. He made a TikTok video. You need to see it.
I probably have. I've seen a couple, but like there's one guy who's doing Subway, and there's someone else who's been doing Panera and a few other places where they're showing you how things really are in the restaurant.
I thought it was a guy. It's a girl, actually. And it was posted, I guess, at the end of the week last week. And it was called Exposing Panera. Mm-hmm. And it has been viewed right now. Well, you know what? When I watched it last night, it had been viewed over 10 million times. So they're up to 11.2 million views.
Hardly noticed at all.
Yeah, nobody
no
knows.
No one's paying attention to it.
So basically, it just shows you that the mac and cheese from Panera comes out of the freezer in a bag.
Yeah.
It goes into a boiling thing to warm it up, and then they cut it up or cut open the bag and pour it on your plate.
How did we think it was made, guys? I mean, how do we think?
I mean, Panera really pulled back the curtain for me when I was like, I want this sandwich, but no onions. And they're like, oh, yeah, we can't do that.
They make a lot already.
And it's like,
ahead
what?
Of time.
Like, oh, yeah, they're made off site and brought in. And I'm like, okay, let's not pretend that they're being made in the old country and flown in. Okay, let's just drop that facade right now.
You could be in the back and lift the bread off and just take off the onion part.
No, they can't do that. That's going to be too much work.
Too much effort.
Can't be a part of that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've not seen this, but there are others. Because I was watching, but he was a guy yesterday. He was showing the same thing of like cutting open the food and showing how it's all just in bags.
Yeah. So I guess at this point, what's the point?
Except for the fact...
Well, like, you know what? I guess I'm not a huge Panera fan, but you love mac and cheese.
I do, but I mean, I knew they weren't in the back making it in a pot. Like, they're not doing that.
Okay, that's fair. So you're saying that you're still willing to pay, I don't know, $8 for this?
I've never had theirs. I've never had Panera's mac and cheese. But if I was Panera, I'd be like, hold on, hang on, everybody.
Like,
Don't show anything.
This is not us. We would never do that.
I think if we went to most restaurants, this is how they do it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was where I had a friend of mine that, and again, this was in the early stages of my cynicism. I had a friend that worked at Bob Evans, and he was just like, yeah, all the food is microwaved. And I was like, nah.
Are you talking like oven microwave? Is it a special one?
They're making it back there. And it's just
they're
like,
heating it up.
Like, we pop things in the microwave, pull them out, and I'm sure it's not like that now.
Well,
that was just back then.
With the Mexican restaurant that we were over there, I remember one time we were all there, and they also said, oh, we can't make any changes because it was made, like the whole entire plate was made, and then they just heat it up, and that's it. And that's why it comes out and the plate's so hot.
Jeez.
Because, have you ever been to a place where they're like, hot plate?
Yeah.
Well, because they're just heating it all up all in one.
Well, that's what's nice about going to some place like McDonald's, where they're back there and they're like taking their time.
We know what's going on back there.
Handcrafting the food. Like, I really appreciate that about McDonald's.
I saw once how, they say, oh, it's freshly cracked eggs and stuff. How it was basically just discs of eggs that were pre-cooked already, but they were just frozen. And so then it is a fresh egg, but it's just frozen that way.
It's frozen fresh.
So we'd be disappointed if we saw any of our restaurants behind the scenes.
Well, Nikki, here I quote to you from Twitter. This sounds exactly like you. I don't get what she's exposing. Did people really think there was a chef hanging out in the kitchen of Panera making mac and cheese?
They're not doing that.
Yeah, it's true.
So wait, are they, so they're fired?
Yeah, the girl that posted the video is fired, but she's hugely popular on TikTok now. So sometimes
she's going to quit anyways.
Now she's got her social media empire that she's going to need to work on.
If you're looking for a job and you want to work in the restaurant industry, I think this will lead to a change in when you get hired by a company, what you can disclose while you're there, how you can disclose it, and what are the results if you expose something.
What? Okay. I love the idea they're like, we don't want anyone to see what happens in our kitchen. You're like, oh, you mean with the food I'm going to put in my mouth? You don't want me to know what you're doing to the food that goes in my mouth?
There's this, and then there's the other videos where it's like, didn't you see the mouse when it hopped into the deep fryer?
Did you see the guy taking a bath in the sink?
Yeah, like there are legitimate ones that we can be more worried about than they opened the bag of mac and cheese.
I'm just glad. I mean, it was clean.
Yes, I think it's actually better that way.
That's something.
I don't mind things coming from a bag.
Something didn't just fall out of this guy's mouth into the mac and cheese as he's mixing it up.
Yeah, this one's not the worst.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Nikki, how much do you trust the United States Postal Service? Not at all.
Not very far.
You just don't trust them.
Well, it's hard for us to trust anybody. So I just don't get a lot of stuff done by the Postal Service.
I understand. I do.
I try not to mail anything, so I really try hard at that.
But you get mail.
Well, yeah, that's true. But most of the stuff I get I get bills by email, so really mail, I don't get a lot of anything that I actually need.
You don't send a lot of letters?
No, I don't. No letters.
Well, then how do you find out what people are doing?
Not through that.
It's not through letters?
Not that way.
Okay. Because I have a notice here that I ordered a little something. They shipped at USPS, which seems like a terrible idea.
You have to add a whole extra day.
They say that thing is out for delivery.
Today? Mm-hmm. Is it out for delivery to like the truck? And so that's one day, and then the truck to your house the next day?
And then, no. Then the truck drives around for a couple of days.
It says it lost it can't find it, and then it'll deliver it to a neighbor.
I've never seen them have what has been accurate data, but for the last, since Saturday. Is today Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Sure it is. So since...
On top of it, aren't you? It's like the days are blending together.
If you told me that we were existing outside of time and space and that all we ever did was sit in this room, I would have less trouble believing that
than the fact
knowing
that your
that
package
it's
is coming.
or that my package, yeah, but they say it's coming today.
See, ever since Amazon switched to like them delivering their own stuff, I don't deal with hardly ever any other, like no Postal Service, UPS, FedEx, that sort of stuff.
Okay, all right.
It's always the Amazon truck or the truck that Amazon rented.
Okay.
And
yeah, right.
that's what you get.
Yeah, my new glasses are coming today.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, but they'll look exactly the same. It's the same frame.
No, we're going to feel like they're different. It's a
You
new
won't.
you.
You
It's
won't.
a makeover.
You won't know any difference at all.
Yay!
Though the prescription has changed again.
Yeah.
Man, okay, that's a whole other thing. But can I just tell you, when you go in to get your glasses, all they're doing is guessing. They just keep flipping that thing like, is this better? Is this better? Is this better? Is this better? The pressure is enormous because what if you're
What if
like...
you say the wrong thing?
Yeah, what if you're like, I don't know, I think the first one. Show me the second one again. Oh, I can't tell. And then they keep flipping it up and down and flipping it up and down. And then they're like, well, your eyes are like this. I'm like, yeah, but 6 months ago they were like this.
What's going on?
What if I just answered differently? What if I got it wrong?
You'll
now
find
I'm buying
out.
glasses again. They're flying in from China, from the USPS. Am I going to be able to see? I don't know.
So your glasses will be here today. But it's the identical same frames.
Yeah, it is. My last 2 pair, I've just bought the same frames.
Well, when you stick with something that feels
they're
comfortable.
so cheap.
Oh, and they look good. It's
Yeah,
a good classic look.
It's fine. Whatever.
Well, yay for today.
I buy really cheap glasses now because the last time I spent like money on glasses,
Sure.
I hated them.
But don't they say like you're supposed to spend a little bit of money since it's your eyes, or does it just not matter?
It seems to me that where I'm at, it doesn't matter that much. I'm
Now,
at like a step and a
Where
half
you're
or a step and a quarter.
If you don't take care of it, though, will it lead to ones where you then have to buy the special glasses?
I bought some higher index frames, and no, I don't think so. So that
X frames?
what?
Is it just because it's got the word X in it?
No, index.
Oh, I said X frames.
I bought X frames.
I could see you doing that.
I bought X frames, which is why I'm a little concerned that the post office is going to steal them. Because once they figure out that there's X frames,
They're so
going to
cool.
want those.
Are they X-Men ones?
Just like Professor X, guys.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on Radio U.
So I'm looking at a little something here about snoring, which is something I've been wanting to talk to you about, Nikki.
I don't snore.
Sometimes Nikki will take a little nap while the music's playing.
No, I do not.
Yeah.
No, I do not. Nope.
And it's just like,
Is
do
it
you
too
say,
much?
Do you say something? Do you just let it go? Don't want to make too big of a deal out of it.
Well, what do they say just in case? But not for me.
So it is a battery-powered buzzer that you stick to your forehead. And
Does it wake you up when you start to snore? Or
yeah. So I guess it gets you to...
why do you have to be humiliated when you're sleeping in order to stop some things? You got to wear this mask thing. You got to put this thing on your forehead. You got to what? You got to have a weighted blanket to keep you down. Like, why can't we just have other stuff?
Here's what I want to know is like, like when human beings first showed up on the scene, what did they do?
Well, they didn't live as long, I don't think.
Well,
And is this stuff making us live longer or what?
Well, they lived till they were like 12 or 13, and so...
Well, yeah,
that was
I
it.
thought they were like...
You had kids by 8.
Like the 30s was like your
Ancient.
Your retirement. We hope you live that long.
Yeah, that's a good call. Like, married at 12, kids by 13.
They didn't get a weighted blanket or a snoring thing.
You move out.
You move out of your parents' house at 10.
Yeah. Well, you got to get out. You're a burden.
Yeah. That was living too long, and you didn't probably move back in. So.
No, because by the time you were like 11, you had built your own barn. Because that's how it
was done.
People were hardier, Nikki.
I think so. I think that's it.
They didn't live as long, but they lived way more.
Where here now, like, I really want a weighted blanket as well, because sometimes I get up too much during the night because I don't get a good sleep. And it's like, well, yeah, get a weighted blanket.
So the idea is...
Where back in the day, you were actually sleeping in a barn.
Yeah, you were like, you didn't need a weighted blanket because you were under all that straw.
Yeah, you were.
So that just kept you in place. No big deal.
The livestock that you had to check on because it was your responsibility at 10.
No big deal. No big deal. So here's what they found. This device that you put on your head, it basically will vibrate until you roll over. And then when you roll over on your side, instead of sleeping on your back, then it will stop vibrating, so it'll help you go back to sleep. And so this way, it'll keep you on your side where you're more likely to get more air, and that'll prevent you from snoring and from passing out and dying slowly in your sleep.
That's the apnea, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's how you can take care of that.
All right, well, put it on the list. If someone has a problem with that, there's an option.
Yeah, it's something you can do. Just get that thing and stick to your head.
You could fix the snoring problem.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get one of those tubes to put on your nose. Then we're going to get this thing for your head. We'll get you a weighted blanket.
We're going to weight you down so you can't move. And a sleep mask to block out everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That would be so much stuff.
And then in the morning, you take all that off. You put a bright light in your face.
Not your screen, because you're not supposed to be looking at that.
Oh, my gosh. But
we got a whole new life planned.
You're definitely living your best life, though.
You should be doing a lot better.
Using advanced technology, we've digitized and transcoded Obadiah and Nikki into a purely digital format. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
I just want you to know my default is, what's your problem? What do you want?
Can't tell you how many times we've heard that. In a kind and caring way.
I am, you just can't even fathom how cynical I am. Like when somebody that wants to do something nice, you're just like, do something nice. Did you poison the brownies? Did you? What is it? Okay, you're gonna help me with whatever. What do you want? You're gonna come to me for a favor later? Is that what this is? I'll do something nice for you, and now I owe you.
Well,
is that where we are?
You put the guard right up.
I do. It's bad. I just don't. And you know what? I try to not always be like that, but boy,
I think when
it's my default for sure.
No, I think also though when we're not running at our peak, meaning we're tired or something,
it's worse.
It happens so much faster than I think you can stop it.
That's fair.
And so before you know it, you responded in that way, and you're like, "Oh man, now I'm mad because I responded in that way because I'm tired."
I didn't have to be that way.
Yeah, but you get upset again.
Yeah, so it's a twofer.
It is.
That's great. Well, I just want to throw this out there. If you're like me, just in general, we'll just leave it at that. Okay? It's a little hard to accept, but I want you to know that God is not looking for a chance to turn the tables on you. God says that he loves you. He cares about you. He wants a relationship with you. And, I'm just like, yeah, well, what's your angle? God doesn't need anything. He is dealing out of genuine love for you, and he wants the best for you. I know it's hard to believe. It's hard for me to believe sometimes, and I've known God for a long time, and there's just that real cynical side to me. And, maybe it's because people are jerks. Maybe it's because I've seen people be jerks. In Jesus' name. That's real. But I want you to know that, man, when it comes down to it, God loves you for who you are, and you can take your defenses down a little bit. And even if it has to be a little bit at a time, God's willing to wait it out with you. He loves you. He wants to be with you. He wants to have a relationship with you. And if you've never, ever started a relationship with him, it's as easy as saying, Jesus, I want that. I'm cynical. I'm cold, but I want to stop. I want to believe you. I want you to come into my life. I want you to fill me with your spirit. I want to find a better way to do things. I mean, that's a great place to start in a relationship with God. He really does love you, and you really can take a deep breath on this one.
Are people really still listening to the Riot? You don't have work to do or laundry to fold or literally anything else to do? The Riot, Radio U.
Nikki and I are going to the Circleville Pumpkin Show later this week. But,
we're working.
Well, here's the thing, Nikki. There are pumpkin shows happening all over the United States right now.
There's lots of, maybe not pumpkins, but there's just lots of fall festivals.
Lot of stuff happening. Maybe they don't call it pumpkin. Maybe they call it apple. Maybe they call it. Give me some.
Gourd
Festival.
Gourd Fest. I don't think I'm going to that one.
I don't think anybody's having Gourd Fest.
Well, let's go with what's an S thing, like squash, social? Squash.
Squash social.
Yeah, something like that. It's like a dance.
Invite your friends down for the squash social. We'll be square dancing.
Yeah.
Having hot cider.
Yes.
And weenie roast out back.
See how much fun it sounds? All these wonderful fall festivals.
Hayride if you're good. Okay, so
into the spooky forest.
Ooh, and then
because then it's nighttime, and then they're going to make it scary.
Maybe you could ride with Sarah, and then if she gets scared, she might hold your hand. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I can't wait for the squash social.
Some town listening's like, oh my gosh, we're doing that.
Write it down.
Pass it through.
Write it down. Well, Nikki, McCallum's Orchard and Cider Mill in Jetto, where I don't know where that is.
What state?
I didn't look.
Okay.
They had a little problem. They just had get a load of
Did
this.
something get into the cider?
Some got into the pumpkins.
Oh no!
And they went bad. No, somebody stole about 350 pumpkins.
Well, that could be easily found, can it? I mean, it must be a small town. Who has all the pumpkins?
I would think so.
Check with a house where it's just a bunch of guys, where all the street signs went. They just stole all the pumpkins. It feels like, dude, I bet you could.
No, but the thing is like, okay, that's stealing a pumpkin or that's smashing a pumpkin on somebody's porch.
Yeah.
Like, hey, dude, we got old lady Smith's pumpkin. We smashed it.
Yeah, but if that's a job, because, I mean, they stole a lot within a small window of time. So there's a bunch of guys doing that.
Okay. First off, I don't appreciate your
know it's
gender.
guys.
No, I don't appreciate that.
Is.
I don't appreciate that.
I'm not stealing pumpkins.
That is blatant sexism.
Is it?
Blatant. That is a gender bias like I've never even seen.
I wouldn't have been able to do it because all us girls were at the squash social, so we're not there.
We were all hanging streamers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now you steal 3 pumpkins.
Yeah.
What do you do with 350
You
pumpkins?
go resell them somewhere else. You make your own pumpkin stand.
How much? Okay, like side of the road pumpkin stand.
$5 a pumpkin.
So all that work for $1,500 worth of pumpkins? It's not $1,750.
You got a workout, and that's all you did. That was your leg day, and you got all the pumpkins, you stole them, and then you go set them up somewhere else.
Do you know how long it takes to load 350 pumpkins?
That's why it must have been a lot of people.
That's
Are they sure?
long...
Is this an insurance scam?
Well, okay.
Is this something? Did they go bad?
All right. Now, here's another one. You got to load up all these pumpkins, right? So what? There's 6 of you? Let's say there's 6 of you.
Yeah.
6 of you steal 350 pumpkins.
How many trucks?
To set up a pumpkin stand on the side of the road. Let's say you sell every pumpkin, which you won't, but let's say that you do. At $5 a piece, 350 pumpkins.
Split between the 6.
Yeah. That's, wait, 3. No, it's 15. It's $1,750. $1,750. Now you got to divide it 6 ways. So you're getting a little less than $300 a piece. Not worth it.
But it's worth it for the TikTok. They probably did something with it.
I guess.
It's a pumpkin prank. I'm sure you'll find them on YouTube.
It's not good enough. Sorry, guys. You know what?
You're just not a team player, and that's disgusting. Because if your friends needed you...
Bro, do you even pumpkin?
I mean, if they needed you to steal 300 pumpkins, I would think that you'd be there.
I know. Let's just stay here and play Fortnite.
All right?
That's so much better than stealing pumpkins.
Actually, because we have no drive as a generation, I feel like the 300 pumpkins are not being sold somewhere, but they're in someone's house. All 300 of them.
Which is even worse.
And then someone's
Have you ever? Okay.
Someone else is like, Brad, will you get these pumpkins out? And someone else is like, Linda, jeez, Linda.
I thought you loved pumpkins.
I brought you pumpkins. You wanted pumpkins.
Have you ever had to clean up a rotting pumpkin?
Oh, I bet it's gross. You're going to get maggots?
Let me tell you what. As someone that used to work at a farm market that dealt heavily in pumpkins, that is something.
Well, look for the house with the smell coming from it then. Someone has it in the area.
They go liquid.
Okay, they don't just disappear.
And they split, and then you come out, and you're like, why is there a big puddle of water around the pumpkin?
No more pumpkin talk.
You done? We've only been at it for 6 minutes. What are you talking about?
We could talk forever about this.
We can't. This one time when I was little, I had a pumpkin.
And it died. We just have to stop.
Let's just take a minute.
The worst of the riot is over, but the fun can keep going.
Hey, I saw you checking out my goods.
Check the Riot blog or stalk us on social media.
You want to sample them? A little try before you buy, huh?
Through riot.radiou.com.
What's your problem? What do you want?